Did you know that people decide whether they like you or not within the first 7 seconds of meeting you? That's right, just 7 seconds. And your first words matter more than you think. A study by UCLA shows that 55% of first impressions are based on your body language, but 38% comes from the tone of your voice, and only 7% is from the actual words you say. So, how do you make sure those first words land in the best possible way? Whether you're delivering a big presentation or having a quick meeting, how you open your speech can make or break your success. Should you crack a joke or dive right into the facts? It's a critical decision. In this video, we'll explore 2 powerful speech openers, funny and serious. We'll look at when to use each one and the risks of getting it wrong. In this guide, you'll learn how humor can build trust, why seriousness can command authority, and how to blend both for maximum impact. Ready to discover which opener will get you heard? Let's dive in. Chapter 1, First Impressions Matter, the power of the opening line when it comes to speeches and presentations. Your first few words can set the tone for everything that follows. Studies show that people make judgments about you in the first 7 seconds of meeting you. That's just how fast the human brain processes information. Whether you're funny or serious, you need to grab attention right away. A well-chosen opener can spark interest, build rapport, and make you seem more likable. But there's a catch: it has to be authentic. People can quickly tell when you're being forced or unnatural. Take Steve Jobs, for example. His iconic "one more thing" opener always built anticipation. It's simple, direct, and gets the audience hooked. But what if you're not Steve Jobs? Don't worry. You don't need a catchphrase to make an impact. Humor can instantly create a connection, especially in casual or creative environments. But in more formal settings, a serious, direct approach might work best to establish your credibility. A recent study by the Harvard Business Review found that using humor in business presentations led to a 35% increase in audience engagement. That's huge. But here's the twist: the humor had to be relevant. Humor that was off topic or forced actually decreased engagement. Knowing when and how to use humor is a strategy that can really set you apart. For example, in a corporate pitch, opening with a relevant, funny story about your industry can break the ice and ease the tension. But if you're presenting to a board of directors, starting with a bold, serious statement about market trends might be more appropriate. Tailor your opener to your audience, and you'll be in the right lane from the start. Chapter 2, Laugh Your Way to the Top, How Humor Builds Relatability. Humor isn't just for comedians, it's a powerful tool in the professional world too. Think about it, people tend to trust and connect with those who can make them laugh. Why? Because humor shows confidence and social intelligence. In fact, a study from the University of Kansas found that people are more likely to follow someone who uses humor, because it signals that you're approachable and easygoing. But humor is a double-edged sword. Too much can make you seem unprofessional. A little bit of well-timed humor can be a game changer. Consider Richard Branson, the billionaire founder of Virgin Group. Branson has built a brand around being lighthearted and fun. His speeches often begin with personal stories or funny anecdotes. This approach not only makes him more relatable but also sets him apart in a world full of corporate jargon. Here's a fun fact: according to a study by the Journal of Applied Psychology, employees are 27% more likely to engage with a boss who uses humor than one who doesn't. Humor creates a sense of camaraderie, breaking down walls and fostering trust. This trust can lead to better teamwork, more innovative ideas, and ultimately, career growth. Still, it's essential to find your humor sweet spot. As executive coach Dory Clark points out in her book Stand Out, the best leaders don't force humor, but they understand the right moments to sprinkle it in. Humor isn't just about making people laugh. It's about making them feel comfortable enough to engage with you, Clark says. So, if you're nervous, a funny story or lighthearted comment can help loosen up the room. Chapter 3, Serious Business, When to Stay Straight-Laced and Professional. There are times when humor just won't cut it, and that's where seriousness shines. If you're presenting to high-level executives, pitching an idea to investors, or addressing a team during a crisis, your opener should be serious and direct. Why? Because seriousness communicates authority, focus, and reliability, qualities that are crucial in high-stakes situations. In fact, a survey by the Center for Creative Leadership revealed that 71% of senior leaders prefer a more serious tone when addressing critical business matters. This doesn't mean you should be stiff or robotic, but rather confident and composed. Your words should reflect your expertise and the gravity of the situation. For example, consider how leaders like Barack Obama or Angela Merkel use serious, structured openings to command attention. Obama's speeches often begin with a direct statement about the issue at hand, followed by a detailed breakdown of the problem and solution. This approach works because it communicates to the audience that you know what you're talking about and you're not here to waste their time. In contrast, overusing humor in these settings can undermine your credibility. Imagine you're delivering a pitch to potential investors and you start with a joke about the economy. It might fall flat, making you appear less serious or prepared. A serious, impactful opener here could be a thought-provoking fact or question about the industry's future. This type of opener doesn't just grab attention, it earns it. A study from the University of California found that audiences tend to give more respect to speakers who open with a direct, professional tone. This respect is key to career advancement, especially if you want to be seen as a leader in your field. Your audience needs to trust you before they will follow your lead. In serious scenarios, the goal isn't just to be heard, it's to be taken seriously. And if you open with confidence, the rest of your message will have a much stronger impact. Chapter 4, The Risk Factor, What's at Stake with Humor versus Seriousness. Every choice you make in your speech has a risk, and this includes your opener. Humor can be a great icebreaker, but if it's poorly timed or misjudged, it can quickly fall flat. In fact, research from the University of Western Ontario found that inappropriate humor can cause audiences to lose trust in the speaker. This is especially true in more formal business settings where professionalism is key. A bad joke can make you seem out of touch or unprepared. On the flip side, being too serious can create a different kind of risk. If you come off as overly stiff or dry, people might zone out, especially if your audience is younger or more creative. According to a 2020 study by Gallup, employees between the ages of 18 and 34 report having a 30% higher engagement rate with leaders who can blend professionalism with relatability, including humor. There's a balancing act between the two. A joke might break the tension, but it can also derail the focus if it's irrelevant. A serious approach might boost your authority, but it can also make you seem less approachable. The key here is knowing when to pull back and when to push forward. As communication expert Carmen Gallo writes in Talk Like TED, the best communicators know when to lighten the mood and when to deliver a serious message that sticks. Another important consideration is cultural context. In some cultures, humor is highly valued and seen as a sign of humility. In others, humor is considered unprofessional, especially in high-stakes situations. Understanding the culture of your audience is a must if you want your message to land. In any case, it's essential to test your opener before committing to it. If you're unsure whether humor will land well, test it in smaller meetings or with colleagues. The more you practice, the better you'll be at assessing which opener works best for your situation. Chapter 5, The Audience is King, Tailoring Your Opener to Your Crowd. Understanding your audience is the secret weapon to creating a memorable opener. What works in a room full of engineers might not work in a creative startup. Research conducted by the Wharton School of Business found that the more a speaker customizes their message, the more likely they are to engage their audience. Tailoring your speech opener to the crowd can make all the difference in how your message is received. For example, in a tech-heavy environment, a humorous reference to a common industry challenge can create instant rapport. On the other hand, if you're speaking to a more conservative group, a direct and professional statement may be more effective. Knowing your audience's values, interests, and even their mood can shape the way your opener hits. Let's take Oprah Winfrey as an example. Oprah has mastered the art of tailoring her speeches. In front of an audience at the Golden Globes, she famously used a powerful, serious tone to address issues of inequality and injustice. However, when speaking to everyday audiences, she often starts with humor, reflecting her relatability and warmth. This adaptability has made her one of the most successful communicators of our time. The importance of understanding your audience can't be overstated. In fact, data from the National Speakers Association shows that speakers who engage their audiences within the first 30 seconds are 40% more likely to be remembered and recommended for future speaking opportunities. In a professional setting, knowing the personalities in the room can help you decide whether to start with humor or seriousness. Take a few minutes to gauge the mood of your audience before you speak. If they seem tense, a lighthearted opener can ease the stress. If the mood is already upbeat, a serious opening can help focus attention on the topic at hand. As you become more familiar with different types of audiences, you'll develop a sense for what resonates best. Ultimately, tailoring your opener ensures that your message gets across and keeps your audience engaged. Chapter 6, Mastering the Art of Balance, Blending Humor with Professionalism. So, How do you strike the perfect balance between humor and seriousness? It all comes down to timing, context, and a little bit of instinct. The most successful speakers don't treat humor and seriousness as separate entities. They blend them, creating a seamless flow that feels natural and engaging. One of the best ways to balance humor and professionalism is to start with a serious opener and transition into something lighter. This creates a sense of authority but also shows that you're human and approachable. Think of a TED Talk, where speakers often begin by establishing a problem, but then follow up with a relatable or humorous anecdote to keep the audience engaged. This keeps the tone both engaging and credible. Consider this example from the world of business. When Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos gives a presentation, he often starts with a serious statement about company goals and market challenges. But then, he introduces humorous stories from his career, making him both approachable and trustworthy. This approach helps him connect with employees, investors, and the public alike. In fact, according to a 2018 survey by Forbes, 45% of CEOs who use a blend of humor and seriousness in their speeches report higher employee satisfaction and greater team productivity. Humor is a tool for building connections, while seriousness is a tool for commanding respect. When combined effectively, they create a powerful communication strategy that can advance your career. But don't just take my word for it. In his book The Charisma Myth, Olivia Fox-Cabane emphasizes that charisma isn't about being funny, it's about making people feel comfortable. Humor, when done right, can be a tool to ease tension, but it's always the underlying professionalism that commands attention. To wrap it up, mastering the balance of humor and seriousness is about knowing your audience, the context, and your own communication style. Sometimes a little laughter goes a long way, but in the right situations, a serious tone will make your message stronger. Practice combining the two, and you'll find that your speeches have greater impact and that your career will advance as a result. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more insights on improving your communication skills and advancing your career. Whether you're presenting in a meeting or giving a speech, knowing how to strike the right tone can make all the difference.